So Xavi Hernandez, after Barcelona's loss to Villarreal on Saturday, has decided to step down as Barca's manager. Now this came after a string of bad performances from Barcelona. Barca have not been looking good for some time now. Villarreal beat them by 5-3. Athletic Bilbao knocked them out of the Copa del Rey by 4-2, before which they lost to Real Madrid by 4-1 in Spanish Super Cup semi-final. Before that, they managed a couple of wins against teams like Real Betis and Osasuna, and when they met Girona in the league, the scoreline was 4-2 in Girona's favour. So Barca have been leaking goals this season. Their defence have been struggling, no doubt. It's really hard to comprehend the fact that they had one of the best defence last season in Europe. Yes, last season they defended really well. They won the league and the Spanish Super Cup. So how can Barca fall so low in such short span of time? The answer for that, in my opinion, is what Messi said a couple of years ago. Messi, while talking about problems in Barcelona, said something on the lines of, Barca does not work on a project. They fix a problem here, they buy a player there. It's like patchwork what they're doing. And of course, he was talking about a Barcelona team when Bartomeu was the president. But those problems, which were financial mismanagement and poor decision making, has carried forward to Laporta's era as well. Now in Laporta's favour, I'll say this. Bartomeu gave him a mess to manage, and it was not easy to get the club out of that mess. And we all know the famous levers he had to activate to get finances to sign new players. But he did that and brought in Xavi, and together they managed to win the league. And that achievement is remarkable if you're a small club. But Barca is not a small club. They are supposed to be a European powerhouse, and they are not acting like one. You see, Laporta activating these levers to bring in some players, again, is a short fix, like a patchwork. These were the players he brought in. Lewandowski, Rafinha, Jules Koundé, Frank Kessié, Christensen, Marco Alonso, Hector Bellerin and Pablo Torre. I can go one by one, but I'll keep it short and say none of them is a long-term investment. Now Laporta's job was to improve the financial situation, so Barca can invest on good players in the next transfer window. But who do they bring in? Oriol Romeu, Ilkay Gundogan, Inigo Martinez and Cancelo and Joao Felix on loan. Now I'm not saying that they are bad players. In fact, I really like Gundogan. But if you're expecting Xavi to do an overhaul in Barcelona, these are not the players you give him. Especially after losing players like Dembele and most importantly, Sergio Busquets. See, Xavi for me is not a bad manager. He did quite well with the resources he had, but he was out of his depth and he lacked experience to manage a club like Barcelona. Sometimes we don't realize how important Busquets was, and no, Oriol Romeu cannot be his replacement, at least not for now. Add to that Gavi's injury, Lewandowski all of a sudden got old, their defense becoming non-existent, and how can we forget the loss of Ter Stegen? And to be honest, these are all some tough situations to manage. And yes, people would say that Xavi is the manager, he has to somehow manage the problems and get the best out of whatever he has. But as I said, Xavi ran out of his depth. Now do I think that any other manager could have done better? Yes. So why am I sounding like I favor Xavi? It's just that he was a club legend, managed to win the league title, and he was trying to manage Barca when Barcelona itself is in a downfall, and it's just his second managerial job, and such a tough one for that. So I sympathize with him. Not everyone can be a Guardiola or Zidane. One major mistake that Xavi did this year was trying to play the Barcelona way, the total football. He was good when he prioritized defense last season, but their style was not appreciated by Barca fans. And he himself said that he would want to change that, but he could not and lost the defensive structure in the process. Now I'd also like to point out a reason why he chose to leave Barcelona. And this is my personal opinion, which is Spanish press and a set of fans in Real Madrid and Barcelona are toxic. If you're managing these clubs and if you're not up to the standards for even a short period of time, they start killing you. This is why Guardiola left, this is why Zidane left. You see, Jurgen Klopp before he leaves next season will spend more than 8 years in Liverpool, and during that time, he was twice or maybe 3 times out of the Champions League places. But no one ever asked him that would he be sacked or when would he leave the club. So managing Real Madrid and Barcelona is immense pressure. It takes a lot of patience, experience and top performances consistently if a manager wants to stay there. And Xavi, for obvious reasons, could not take the pressure any longer. Now what does this mean for Barcelona and what's next? See, one thing's for sure, which is really sad to say, but it is the reality, and that is, no top manager with the situation that Barcelona are in would want to manage them. Anyways, there are these 2 positive points which I'd like to highlight. First up, Barca have some strong youngsters in their academy, real good players like Lamine Yamal, Fermin Lopez, Marc Guiu and more, but they would need some time and experience to compete with the best. Secondly, no top manager would want to put their hands in this financially struggling Barcelona, but Barcelona is still an attractive destination, a legendary club, and if Laporta plays his cards right, he could land a decent manager. So I don't think a Xavi Alonso or a Jurgen Klopp managing Barcelona next season, but maybe De Zerbi, who is playing some attractive football with Brighton in the Premier League, or Girona's Miguel Munoz can also be a really attractive option. But the most realistic and talked about option right now is Rafa Marquez. He is the manager of Barca B, he has played for Barcelona, knows the club internally and the situation around it. And people also say that Laporta likes him and prefers him to be the next coach. hoping for him to be the next Guardiola. Anyways, let's see which direction does Barcelona's ship floats to. And as a football fan, I really hope Barca does not become the next Manchester United or AC Milan. Anyways, you guys let me know your thoughts on the whole situation and like and subscribe to Football Ledger, and I'll make sure to give you the best footballing content.